Good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So glad to have you with us this morning. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning.
Yes, it is.
And I am super excited tonight. So the new Cinemark Theater in Rialto is about to open up, and our daughter works there, and she's left Starbucks and now she works there, and so there's a friends and family event.
Yeah.
And this place has a full restaurant, it has a coffee shop, it has a full bar, it has like 4D seats. And Toby, you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, so the 4D seats are the seats that move with the movie, right? So if you're like in a car chase scene or whatever, and you hit a bump in the road, the seat's going to do it. Or if you're watching a dinosaur movie and the dinosaur stomps on the ground, the chair will shake a little bit, right? So you get some feeling of the actual being there in the movie. It's kind of cool. Now, the movie theater is not actually open to the public today, right? It's still not quite there yet, but they do this friends and family thing so that they get a chance to show off the facility, but also the employees get a chance to practice doing their jobs.
Right, with a friendly crowd.
With a friendly crowd, right? So that way, we can make sure that the drink dispensers work and and that the employees know how to, do all the little things they're supposed to do. So, but I'm looking forward to it.
So it is that whole Renaissance Center, which is the old Rialto Airport, and it's the same company that did the revitalization of Norton Air Force Base is doing which is Hillwood, which is a Ross Perot company. They're doing the Renaissance Center, and it looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of all the Starbucks. There's a Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, obviously the movie theater. I think there's a gym over there. Is it a 24-hour fitness?
I think maybe.
Or maybe an LA Fitness.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's for the people who live on the northern end of Rialto and Fontana. It's like totally a great place to go.
Yeah, it's right off the 210 at Ayala, and really nice. Really, really nice. I can't wait till the whole thing's open, and I know they're just going to be jam busy when they are.
So in a feud straight out of Zoolander, a British fashion model has been convicted of murdering a more successful rival after a social media-fueled dispute. A jury found George Coe guilty on Monday of stabbing, not having a gasoline fight, stabbing Harry Uzoka through the heart outside of Uzoka's London home. The 25-year-old victim was signed to London's premier model management agency and has modeled for GQ and Zara. Prosecutors say Uzoka accused Coe of trying to copy him. Lord forgive me, of trying to copy him, and the two men feuded after Coe claimed to have slept with Uzoka's girlfriend. In January, Coe sent Uzoka a message challenging him to a fight. Uzoka was stabbed, and he collapsed and died in the street. Coe, who's 24, has denied murder, saying he was carrying 2 knives for self-defense. Never mind the blood. 2 other men were convicted alongside Coe and will be sentenced on September 21st.
So the proper way for 2 male models to solve a dispute is a walk-off.
Didn't you see the movie?
And, I'm sure Billy Zane would have been available to judge the walk-off. Come on, people. Have you not seen the movie? Are these models living under a rock? What's their problem?
I wonder who gave the you googly.
Oh, my God, Aaron. I want to give a you googly.
For those of you who haven't seen Zoolander, I'm sorry, I don't mean to make light of this man's murder. Please forgive me.
Yeah.
But it was about male models competing with one another, and
they're so dumb.
And these guys are all dumber than a bag of hammers. I mean, just yeah.
Yes.
They were born in a stupid tree and they fell down hitting every branch.
Yes. It's wow. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So, one of the things that I fear about you having this bike, Tobin, is somebody hitting you with a car, because we know cyclists who've been hit, and actually we know
it can be very dangerous.
Yeah, well, and for some it's been deadly.
Yeah,
some they've ended up in breaking serious bones, and others it has been deadly. And a car slams into a London cyclist, and Parliament has now put barriers in London. Parliament barriers have been put in London. A car slammed into barriers outside Britain's Houses of Parliament on Tuesday morning, injuring at least 2 pedestrians, police say. A male driver has been arrested on suspicion of terrorism. Now, this is a different issue, but I was thinking about you in the car. Witnesses saw officers surround the car before the man was taken away in handcuffs. A car in collision with barriers outside the Houses of Parliament this is what's in a police statement. 2 people were taken to the hospital with injuries not believed to be life-threatening. This would be the 4th vehicle attack in London in less than 18 months. Witnesses say the crash, which involved a small silver car, appears to have been deliberate. I think it looked intentional. The car drove at speed towards the barriers. I was walking on the other side of the road, said a witness, I heard some noise and someone screamed. I turned around and saw a silver car driving very fast close to the railings, maybe even on the pavement. She says the vehicle didn't appear to have a front license plate. Other witnesses, another witness, BBC employee Barry Williams, said he heard screams and then saw the car plow into a group of cyclists waiting at a traffic light before accelerating toward the barrier. Yeah.
You know, the terrorism aspect is wow. London, France, they're all under siege right now, right?
Yes, so Tobin is sneezing.
Yeah, sorry about that. Excuse me. when you got to sneeze, you got to sneeze. But, you know, the terrorism aside, though, when you're a cyclist these days, you have to be very vigilant of what's going on around you. And even cities that have created these really nice bike lanes and have tried to sort of make a safer environment for bicyclists doesn't mean that the cars aren't going to just do what cars do. I mean, they seem to, you know, we've got a lot of distracted drivers out there.
This looks like it was deliberate.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. But I get it. I mean, there's you know, like I said, the terrorism aspect is really bad. I mean, and London is dealing with this. I'm glad they put up barriers, but you know, just being a cyclist, I guess what I'm saying is you're vulnerable.
Right.
Terrorists or not, regular drivers are running people down, and oftentimes not stopping. You know, and this is the thing. We've had a couple of friends who've had hit and runs where the person who hit them just kept going.
Yep.
You know.
So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we will be right back.
Hey, Ryan, do we have any beer in the fridge?
Nah, I thought you got some.
The game starts in 5 minutes.
And you drank the last beer at midnight on Friday.
I wish there was a place that delivered beer.
Yes, I'm Captain Crafted. I'm here to bring you beer. That's Captain, C-R-A-F-T''D. Why? Because there's no E, just a D, as in deliver, because Captain Crafted delivers.
That's right, the Crafted Beer Store in Redlands is now open for business with great prices and deliveries of your favorite beer, wine, spirits, water, ice, and mixers. Did I mention their great prices? That's CRAFTDBEER store.com or Fred Crafted Beer Store on Facebook.com. Make it easy. Google Redlands Beer Delivery. Look for Crafted Beer.
Crafted Beer Store in Redlands is now open for business, and I'm here to deliver.
Now, here's a new concept: digital network advertising, where businesses display your ad inside their building. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, your company is going to thrive with digital network advertising. Choose your marketing sites or jump on the DNA system and advertise with all participants. Your business ad or logo is rotated multiple times an hour inside local businesses where people will discover your company. Digital network advertising, DNA, a novel way to be seen and remembered. Digital network advertising with networks in Redlands and Yucaipa. Call in the 909 area 222-9293 for introductory pricing. That's 909-222-9293 for digital network advertising. One last time, digital network advertising, 909-222-9293.
Bob Vila here with my home improvement tip of the day. Drilling into metal isn't all that difficult, but knowing a few basics before you start the job will make it go more smoothly. First, be sure to wear safety goggles, not glasses, when you're drilling into metal. They help keep any tiny flecks of metal from getting into your eyes. Use a vise or clamps to hold the metal in place. Before picking up your drill, use a center punch to create a small dimple where you're planning to drill. That'll keep your bit from drifting. The dimple doesn't need to be big, just large enough to keep the bit in place. As you drill, keep a little light motor oil in the hole to help with lubrication and to keep the bit from overheating. One more tip. Don't try to rush the job by applying too much pressure on the drill and running it at top speed. You'll achieve better control and end up with a more accurate and cleaner cut if you use moderate pressure and keep the drill at half speed. Get more info at bobvila.com and right here at home with me, Bob Vila.
Wet n Wild Palm Springs is the one where you get big water park fun. Yeah, dive into all the action-packed thrills with exciting rides, slippery slides, cool water adventures, and so many ways to just chill. So get everyone together and get to Wet n Wild Palm Springs. For unlimited fun, get a season pass. Buy now, get a free ticket for a friend, and more. All for just $64.99 at wetandwildpalmsprings.com or at Food for Less. Offer ends soon. Park open daily.
For several years, KCAA has been marketing the Youngevity brand of nutritional and personal care products. Our experience with Youngevity has been 100% positive, so we are pleased to recommend them to you. Regarding nutritional supplements, we recommend Pollen Burst in the berry flavor and Tangy Tangerine 2.0 in the tablet form. For regularity issues, we recommend 3-Day Cleanse, and for personal care, we recommend Morning Hydration Cream. You can shop online for Youngevity at www.KCAATeam.com, or you can order by phone by calling 800-982-3197 and tell customer support that you are part of the KCAA team. Youngevity is an American company based in San Diego. Call Youngevity at 800-982-3197 and ask about monthly auto ship that allows you to buy Youngevity products at wholesale prices. That number again, 800-982-3197. KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Wouldn't it be nice if we were older and we wouldn't have to wait so long? And wouldn't it be nice to live together in the kind of world where we belong? No, it's gonna make it that much better when we can say goodnight and stay together.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So excited to welcome to the show David D. Kirkpatrick. He's written a book, Into the Hands of Soldiers, Freedom and Chaos in Egypt and in the Middle East. It's a candid narrative of how and why the Arab Spring sparked and then failed, and the truth about America's role in that failure and the subsequent military coup that put Sisi in power. From the Middle East correspondent of the New York Times, David Kirkpatrick, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So, you know, the Arab Spring seemed so hopeful when it was going on. I mean, everybody thought, wow, this is a renaissance in the Middle East, and then it fizzled. What happened?
Well, the thing to keep in mind is that it wasn't some huge seismic groundswell that toppled all those governments. They'd been hollowed out from inside by their own corruption. And so the story that began in 2011 and is still unfolding across the Middle East is really about the collapse of that old order and the struggle to find something to replace it.
So there was a documentary I watched on what happened with the Arab Spring in Egypt and how hopeful the young people were, and that's really a young person's movement. And then to watch the Muslim Brotherhood come into power, and then they were able to unseat them. You know, can you talk about what was going on in Egypt at the time?
Yeah, I can, and I can talk a little bit about my own role. I'm familiar with that documentary. You know, there was an impulse, I think a very understandable impulse, on the part of us Western journalists covering Egypt to focus on and draw out the figures in the uprising in 2011 in Tahrir Square, the figures who were going to be the most appealing and empathetic for American readers and viewers. So we lionized a set of young English-speaking or Western-friendly activists savvy with technology and made them really the face of that revolution. What made that revolution go, the real force behind it, was actually the unity of the thing. The fact that there were Muslim Brotherhood members as present in the square, as well as Coptic Christians and secularists, old people and young people, rich people and poor people. And I think we unintentionally distorted that image, and I think that documentary does the same thing, so that it looked like this was a sort of Facebook revolution, and we were then disappointed. We all were asking, Americans were asking, where did it go? Why didn't it turn out like that? Where did the Muslim Brotherhood come from? In fact, the Muslim Brotherhood was there from the very beginning. They speak for quite a sizable portion of the Egyptian population, and it was unreasonable to think that they weren't going to play a significant role in Egyptian political life.
So what does this, first of all, where does it stand now? What's going on in Egypt? And, has there been is there a freer community now in how they treat women and how they, and the economy being freer? Because I understand that at the time of the revolution, for young people, the unemployment rate was very, very high. Is that the case?
The unemployment rate is higher today. Economic circumstances, the growth rate, inflation, all of that is much worse. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you look at Egypt today versus in the years before the revolution, things are worse in every measure. There's less security. There is a festering insurgency centered in North Sinai. There is less personal freedom. I would argue that things are worse for women and even for the Coptic Christian minority, which is also targeted by those Islamists. I mean, of particular concern is the fate of women, because a lot of people in the West thought, well, the military is overthrowing the elected president, but that president was an Islamist from the Muslim Brotherhood. He probably had a pretty patriarchal attitude. I think what you find is that the current government, although nominally secular, is actually quite religious. They push their own interpretation of Islam, and they're very exclusive about it. And they're also quite conservative. And what's more, they disallow any independent feminist organizing. So while there was a kind of flowering of a women's movement in the years after Mubarak fell, that has been completely snuffed out. And some of the leading activists of that movement are awaiting arrest. Just recently, Amal Fathi, one Egyptian woman whose husband I happen to know, was arrested for posting on Facebook about the sexual harassment that she faced routinely on the streets of Egypt. She was arrested on the grounds that she'd been spreading fake news and calling for the fall of the regime.
Wow.
So that's how the Egyptian government of today treats their version of the Me Too movement.
Wow. I had so hoped it was different. So, why did the United States not get more involved?
Well, the United States is a big backer of the government in Egypt, whoever that government is. The U.S. continues to send Egypt $1.3 million a year in military aid, and considers Egypt, because of its location, because of its importance as a bellwether for the Arab world, to be a really key ally. And so when the military pushed out the elected president, the consensus opinion in the Obama administration was, we need to stick with them, even if they are now ousting a democratic regime.
And that policy continues in the current administration?
More than continues. President Trump loves President Sisi. I'm overstating that, but only slightly. He's called him a fantastic guy and applauded him for taking control of Egypt, by which he means the coup and the massacres that follow, I can only assume. Sisi really epitomizes the Trump administration's approach to the Middle East, which is the problem is political Islam. All political Islamists are extremists, and the only answer is brute force.
Well, and he truly admires strong leaders, quote unquote. President Trump does, so which includes dictators all over the planet. Forgive me, he's been very vocal about that. So, where do we go from here? Where does the world go from here?
Well, I don't know what comes next in terms of policy. But I would say that there are two ways to look at Egypt and the region. You can either say there's just something wrong with these people. They tried democracy and they couldn't get it right. The counterexample, of course, is Tunisia. Or in alternative to that, you can say these governments are a problem. These autocratic and authoritarian governments weren't able to meet the needs of their people in 2010. They collapsed in 2011, and nothing has yet replaced them. But those are your choices. Either the institutions are the problem and could be fixed, or you're stuck just thinking Arabs and Muslims can't quite cut it.
Wow, that's kind of bleak. I mean, we didn't come on. It took us a long time to get to the point of, the Western culture to get to the point of being able to create a democracy. It takes education and it takes a historical context. It takes support. I mean, if you think of the support that we gave during the after World War II to Europe to be able for them to build up democracies, it didn't happen on accident.
No, but the American democracy has never been perfect. You can start the clock in many different places in 1776 or with the Civil Rights Act of 1964 for when you're gonna sort of call it a genuine democracy. I will tell you that some Arab intellectuals now look across and they see President Trump and they see him bringing his family members into the White House and they see him trying to fire prosecutors that go against him and they see his general authoritarian style and they say, huh, how about that?
Right.
Maybe the Americans aren't really so different than us after all.
So we're completely out of time. The name of the book is Into the Hands of Soldiers, Freedom and Chaos in Egypt and the Middle East. Are you going to be doing a book tour, and can people find you on social media?
You can certainly find me on social media, and I'll be doing as much media as I can. I'm based in London, England these days, so the book tour in the U.S. will probably be limited.
Well, David D. Kirkpatrick, thank you so much for joining us today, and it's been enlightening.
Thanks a lot.
All right, so we're at the need to take a break. I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carter. It's primary election day in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Vermont, and Connecticut. In Wisconsin, there's a competitive race to replace retiring House Speaker Paul Ryan. President Trump is weighing in after a man in central London drove his car into security barriers outside Parliament during the morning rush hour. Police arrested the driver and several people were hurt. Tweeting about the incident this morning, President Trump wrote, "Another terrorist attack in London. These animals are crazy and must be dealt with through toughness and strength." London's counter-terrorism unit is leading the investigation. Much of the Northeast remains under a flash flood watch after heavy rain that started over the weekend continued falling yesterday.
We have 4 million people at risk of flash flooding. We're talking central Pennsylvania, the southern tier of New York, and back up to the Capital District and into the Catskills here.
NBC meteorologist Bill Cairns. The rain has turned many roads into fast-moving streams. Lisa Carter, NBC News Radio.
It's time for traffic on KCAA. I'm Aaron Brinker. In Temecula on the 15 southbound, before the 79 Winchester Road, an accident there has been cleared. Traffic is backed up to Los Alamos Road on the 215. In Riverside on the 60 westbound, before Valley Way, an accident has the left lane blocked. Stop-and-go traffic is backed up from Rubidoux Boulevard. In Moreno Valley on the 60 eastbound, before Nason Street, a solo wreck is now along the right shoulder. And that is your traffic report for this... At the moment, sorry. On KCAA, we are the stations that leave no listener behind. I'm Aaron Brinker.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Alvin Washington. Sunny and windy this morning, a high of 95. Clear and windy this evening, low of 69. Sunny, windy on Wednesday, a high of 95. Clear Wednesday night, low 71. I'm Alvin Washington, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA, 102.3 FM Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and the Legacy 1050 AM Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
Occasionally stressed and fatigued? Support energy and stress response with Quantum Nutrition Lab's stress support, B12, and adrenal support. Buy 2, get the third one free. Call 888-588-7578 or visit us online at qnlabs.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline. Tune in and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family.
Hey guys, this is Andrew Caravella. Just wanted to let you know that KCAA has a new listener line for all of you that have a phone. Now you can listen to KCAA in the grocery store, in the doctor's office, or when you want to pretend you're on the phone with someone just so that creeper will leave you alone. Call 720-835-3099 today and listen to your favorite KCAA radio shows. That number again, 720-835-3099. KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no caller or listener behind.
I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, most people have been watching the stock market go up, up, and up. There's one problem. When you get out, most people don't get out in time. Well, I've solved that. With my video stock program, I pick the stock, put it on the video, tell you when to get in and when to get out. Join my video program.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264.
Been very happy with the results on 2018. I'm up over about 15% for the year.
Phil has definitely kept me informed on a day-to-day basis on the ups and downs in the market.
I've been extremely happy with everything that they've done and afforded me by becoming a Phil's Gang member.
I would highly recommend joining Phil's Gang.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Don't worry about a thing.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So excited to welcome to the show the always happy, the always sunny Michelle Harris from Alive and Well TV. She joins us frequently to talk about, so every 2 weeks, to talk about all things that are positive under the sun, health and wellness and beauty and culture. And today she's going to be talking to us about staying cool in this heat. Michelle Harris, welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning. And is it just me, or has the entire summer not been a heat wave?
It has been brutal. I understand that even San Francisco had a day or a couple of days that were right around 100 degrees. And up there, you know, you expect it to be 70 and 60s at night, and they don't have air conditioning. So my heart really went out to them for that.
I know. And, of course, we're dealing with these horrific fires. So I can't believe we're going into September soon, and we're talking about ways to beat the heat. And, of course, I just looked at the forecast, and it's only going to get hotter this weekend. So I think it's always a good reminder that there's a lot of things we can do to beat the heat and just feel better, because there's a lot of things that can happen, like heat stroke, and it can just generally make you feel not so great. So there's some easy things you can do. And, of course, one of the simplest things, and it's something you should always be doing, is to make sure you're hydrated. Drink more water. And I always carry around a reusable water bottle with me that's really convenient. You can even refill it from a water fountain. That's the great thing about having a reusable bottle. You can fill it anywhere. Sometimes, even if I'm picking some food up at a restaurant and I tend to drink water over soda, I'll just hand them my water bottle and say, do you mind filling this up for me? And they always do it. So that's a really great way. Just if you get dehydrated, it's going to make you feel awful. And many times when people are dehydrated, they don't know that's the cause. So just all day long, just be drinking water, and that will really help your body get through the heat.
I have to say that, you know, it is amazing. By the time you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. And I struggle with this because I don't necessarily drink as much water as I should. And then all of a sudden, you know, I've got a headache and I'm lethargic. It's like, what the heck is going on? And I'm not drinking enough water.
Yes, and for most people it is. So just remember, it's a good tip for every day. Drink enough water, and it also makes your skin look better as an added bonus, which I like. So there you go. You won't just feel better. Your skin's going to be a lot more glowy. And then one of the other things is, of course, I hate to say it, in the summer, a lot of people have excessive sweating.
Yes.
And so what you want to do to kind of combat that is to wear breathable clothing, materials like cotton that get a lot of air in. That's why when you see a lot of times men wearing the robes in the Middle East, that's because it's cooler. So that it's cool, it's breathable, it's cotton, and so that's why people wonder, because to us it doesn't look really normal, but the men walking around in a robe, but that's why, and it's supposed to keep you much cooler. I'm not saying to wear a robe, but definitely try and wear cool fabric such as cotton and something that's a little bit more breathable, which usually isn't my MO, to be honest with you. But if you have to be outside, especially if you're working, that's what you want to do. And also just, make sure you're wearing antiperspirant. And I think I've mentioned this before. There's actually a treatment you can get called Maridry, and that will, at least for the sweat under your arms, because, of course, we need to sweat, but it won't show if you have this treatment, and they do it like in a doctor's office in under an hour, and it permanently gets rid of the sweat under your arms. So if that's more of like an embarrassment issue, if you're having problems with sweat on your clothing and odor and things like that, that's one thing you can do, especially if you're someone who doesn't like to wear antiperspirant or just, has a problem with sweat in general. And another thing that you can do is to install an attic fan. Most people don't realize even if you have air conditioning, an attic fan can lower the temperature in your house by up to 10 degrees.
Wow, because it sucks all of the hot air out, doesn't it?
Yes. And I live in a two-story house, so most people know even if you have air conditioning, if you live in a two-story house, the way my air conditioning works right now is my downstairs is freezing and my upstairs is over 80 degrees.
Because
So
hot air rises.
Exactly. So you want to definitely consider it's an inexpensive option, and it'll help to reduce your cooling bills in the summer. And especially if you have a two-story home, it'll help to get rid of that hot air, but it does usually decrease the overall temperature of your house by 10 degrees, and that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Especially at this time of the year. And this is kind of a no-brainer. And I know a lot of us will love it. As much as I enjoy cooking, you don't want to turn on the oven if you can avoid it.
Yeah, because it heats up the whole house.
It does. I'm telling my husband, I think we should get some takeout. We don't want to turn on the oven, but it's the truth. And when I do, make a dinner, especially when I'm baking this time of year, it does heat things up. So if you can avoid even just doing something that's maybe just on the cooktop, if you don't want to turn on the actual oven, it will keep your house from getting that much warmer by turning on the oven.
So your slow cooker is your friend.
Exactly. Just, throw some beans and veggies in there and take off for the day, and your house isn't going to get any warmer. And of course, you can eat a lot of fresh, raw veggies and salad and things like that. So you do have a lot of options besides takeout. And I know you and I are big believers in exercise. So for those people who like to exercise outdoors, which right now between our air quality due to the fires and, of course, the temperature, is really, really difficult. And especially if you have medical conditions, you don't want to do that. You want to stay someplace inside where you're not going to be exposed to the air that we're having right now with all the smoke and the high temperatures. But if you still want to exercise outdoors and you don't have any other mitigating health problems, do it either very early, like right now. Hopefully you're listening to us, on your phone as you're doing your morning run right now before it warms up too much, or end of the day. Middle of the day, you're going to have a lot of problems with overheating, sunburn, and those types of things. So that's really important to remember. And then also, your body has cooling points. So knowing those cooling points, especially if you're feeling overheated, which of course your head is one, your neck, the inside of your elbow, the inside of your wrist, and the inside of your ankles, you can use cool towels or gel packs, and that'll cool down your whole body quickly if you find that you're getting overheated. So that's a good thing to remember as well.
Huh. Now, I knew about the back of the neck and the head, but I didn't realize the other points were cooling points.
Yes, all of those are cooling points, and that's just a quick way to cool down because, you do want to avoid getting heat stroke. And, if you start to feel dizzy or nauseous, definitely go see a doctor right away.
Right.
Because we're in a point right now with the temperature being so high, you can very easily get heat stroke, particularly if you don't have air conditioning, if you're older, if you work outdoors. Those are the people most vulnerable to it. And never, never, never forget to wear your sunscreen. It's not going to protect you from heat stroke, but you're susceptible to getting a sunburn. And then we want to remember not to keep children and pets in cars. Within a minute, it'll be too hot, and it's incredible how warm the car will get, and it can cause serious injury or death to pets and children. So do not leave them in the car right now. And if you have, even just walking outdoors, if the concrete's too hot for you to go barefoot, it's too hot for your pet, so just keep that in mind.
They make little doggy shoes, but most dogs don't like them. You can see them trying to kick them off.
Yes, so make sure you take your pet someplace grassy to walk them, and that way they won't have to be on the concrete, or even, sand is usually cooler. Sand or dirt, even if you don't have a grassy knoll, is cooler than walking on the pavement. And, of course, usually the white pavement's cooler than the black pavement. But just try and be sure that they're not burning their paws, because that's how hot it is. So, and you want to also be sure, walk them someplace shady, avoid walking them, the same as us. Avoid walking your dog, during the hottest points of the day if you can. Try and give them that early morning and end of the day walk, because that's going to be cooler for them and you. And if you see that they do have excessive or loud panting and are extremely thirsty, or start to get sick or have increased heart rate, then you want to take them to the vet right away, because pets get heat stroke too.
Yep, they do. So we are completely out of time. How do people find and follow you? And you're going to be doing an appearance.
Yes, on August 25th, I will be speaking at the Trending Home Expo at the Los Angeles Convention Center. So come on down. It's going to be really fun. I'll be talking about celebrities and green home trends. So you get to see all of their beautiful houses and what they do to keep them nice and green and healthy. And we are syndicated nationwide. You can check out our website, aliveandwell.tv.
Well, Michelle Harris, it's always a treat to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. All right, so it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we will be right back.
The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is serving up some really cool ice cream at La Micho Acana. Then get your chocolates and other delights from C's Candies. Moms and future moms who visit the mall can cool off and relax while they get treated like royalty at Shiny Nails or Francis Nails, and then pampered at Texture Hair. The Tri-City Center is filled with retailers who care about you. Shop at the Tri-City Center in Redlands and see why they call it the mall with a heart.
This segment is sponsored by Tammy Sutherland of Coldwell Banker Kivett Teeters Realty, where she makes it her business to put happy people in happy homes. It's Tammy Sutherland's passion to list your house and put you in just the right house that you could call home.
She made so much extra effort to sell our house and make sure that we understood every step of the way. Tammy always had our best interests at heart.
I didn't think we'd ever find a house we loved, but with Tammy's help, we did. Now I get to mow the lawn every weekend. But then again, that's why we had kids. Hey, Tyler!
Tammy did way more than we ever expected in a real estate agent. Without Tammy, we would still be renting.
So if you want your perfect house, contact Tammy Sutherland at Coldwell Banker Kivett Teeters Realty in Yucaipa, across from Yucaipa High School. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, it's homesbytammy.net or on Facebook at facebook.com/Realtor Tammy Sutherland at 909-556-2094 for Realtor Tammy Sutherland, and we thank her for her support.
Wet n Wild Palm Springs is the one where you get big water park fun. Yeah, dive into all the action-packed thrills with exciting rides, slippery slides, cool water adventures, and so many ways to just chill. So get everyone together and get to Wet n Wild Palm Springs. For unlimited fun, get a season pass. Buy now, get a free ticket for a friend, and more. All for just $64.99 at wetandwildpalmsprings.com or at Food for Less. Offer ends soon. Park open daily.
Hi, everybody. Ray Lucia here with some important information about debt, your debt. Whether you have a first or second mortgage, you're looking to buy or refi a home or rental property, or just need to consolidate your credit cards to lower your payments and save some serious interest, you need to do some loan financial planning with Steve Alladort, my mortgage man, at loanfinancialplanner.com. Now, Steve's not your garden variety mortgage broker. He actually spends time evaluating how you can use the current super competitive interest rates to pay off your mortgage early, purchase a rental property, improve your cash flow, upgrade to your dream home, or even help your kids or grandkids get into a house. That's what loan financial planning is all about. Steve's been helping me and my listeners for over 2 decades, and I can tell you he is the best finance guy in the business. Go to loanfinancialplanner.com. That's loanfinancialplanner.com.
Or call Steve Alladort at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California. We are KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. Aretha Franklin, the last the media reported, is in grave. She's gravely ill. We're probably looking at the very end of her life. And so playing a little song as a shout out to her. Pray for her family. If you're the praying type, pray for her family and for her to have an easy passing if that's what's meant for her to have. So excited to welcome to the show Becky Aikman. She's the author of the memoir Saturday Night Widows, The Adventures of 6 Friends Remaking Their Lives. She was a journalist at Newsday, and her work has also appeared in the New York Times and the Los Angeles Times. She lives in Brooklyn, New York, and she has written a new book. It's about Thelma and Louise. It's called Off the Cliff. Becky Aikman, welcome to the show.
Hi, Erin. Thanks for having me.
So, Thelma and Louise drove Hollywood off a cliff?
Well, Thelma and Louise certainly shocked Hollywood when it was made. It was so unlike any other movie that made it through the system at the time. And that's one reason I wanted to write a book about it. I wanted to look at how did a movie starring 2 outlaw women somehow manage to make it through the Hollywood system and get into theaters and become the beloved film that it is today.
Did it shock everyone when it did well?
It did shock everyone. Everyone thought it would be just this little movie about a couple women driving around in their car, and it caused a huge sensation at the time. It did very well at the box office. A lot of people loved it. Some people hated it. They thought it was feminism run amok and women acting out in a way that really offended them. Other women loved it because they got to see women breaking free from the conventions of society and becoming their true selves and getting to behave the way men often get to behave in the movies.
So talk to me about the process of getting this movie made. I mean, it was so unlikely. How did it happen?
Well, one advantage that the people making the movie had was that they had no idea what they were doing. There were a lot of people who hadn't really worked in movies before. It was written by a young woman named Callie Curry. She was a former waitress and a college dropout who worked in a really scuzzy job in the background in music videos. She threw all of her frustration about her own thwarted ambitions into writing this screenplay about women who get to rebel. She had no idea that this was not the sort of thing the Hollywood studios would put money into. She said to me, I wasn't writing the kind of movie that got made. I was writing the movie I wanted to see. Well, one of the incredible things about this story that makes it so fun is that she triumphed in the end. She wound up winning the Oscar for this first thing she'd ever written. It was the first time also in 60 years that a woman writing without a male partner won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. So it's one of the many really fun elements of the behind-the-scenes story of this movie.
And of course, these 2 women, they broke all the rules. They did whatever the heck they wanted, which was truly revolutionary.
It really was. And studios at first all rejected the script. They recognized that it was really entertaining, because if you've seen the movie, you know it's very funny and it's full of action. But they all rejected it at first because, first of all, they didn't think it would make money with two women in leading roles. Secondly, they found the women unlikable because they were running around doing the kinds of things men always did in the movies. And many of them thought that a man should rescue the characters at the end. And also they objected, of course, to that crazy ending. Only one studio ultimately did decide to make the movie, and they decided to stay true to its original vision and put it out there and see what happened.
So how did Ridley Scott become attached to the project?
That's also one of the funny background stories here. Ridley Scott was known mostly for big action sci-fi movies, and this was a small film with two main characters in a car. He was called Mr. Macho by his own agent even, and he himself says he's the furthest thing from a feminist, but he wound up directing this movie that's considered a major feminist achievement. At first he didn't want to direct, but he did like the screenplay, so he wanted to produce, and he shopped it around to dozens of other male directors who just didn't get it. So he said, well, I'll go ahead, but he spent a lot of time with Callie Curry and also with the stars, Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon, getting their point of view, because he felt he didn't understand these female characters, so he wanted to have them tell him how to tell this story the way it was intended, and it certainly worked out.
So Gina Davis has been very, very active in Hollywood in an effort to have more meaty and meaningful roles for women, because this was revolutionary because it just wasn't being done, and she continues that effort today. Did this movie change her life?
Oh, it was a huge movie for her. Every female star in Hollywood lobbied for these parts because it was so rare to have substantial roles like this for women. Gina Davis said most of the parts were what she called good luck, honey parts, where the woman stands around in the background while the men have the adventures. These were major, meaty roles with lots of conflicting personality traits that they could really use their acting chops to show. And so everybody wanted these parts. Michelle Pfeiffer, Jodie Foster were in the line for it at one time. Cher was considered. Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn lobbied really hard to get the two parts and play them together. But Ridley Scott felt that these characters were ordinary women, and he didn't want huge stars overshadowing the roles. So he chose Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon, who were certainly very admired actresses, but weren't considered big box office at the time. And he hired them over the objections of the studio so that they would inhabit these real characters and audiences could identify more with them.
Now, the ending of the movie, I mean, it really could be called When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong, because, they end up driving off the cliff. So, can you talk about how the actresses felt about that and kind of what the process of making that happen, that ending?
Yes. Well, most studios did not want to make the film because they were unwilling to shoot that ending. And most directors felt the same way, and many of the actresses also felt that way. Susan Sarandon, actually, when she took the role, said, just promise me you won't change that ending and we wind up at Club Med somewhere. She wanted that ending, and so did Callie Curry, who wrote the screenplay, so did Gina Davis, so did Ridley Scott, because they felt that it shouldn't be regarded as the downer ending it might sound like, but that it should be seen as these women were escaping a world that was too small to contain them and flying off to some sort of ultimate freedom in a metaphorical way. Obviously, the reality was not so glorious, but they filmed it very, very carefully. They chose a setting that was a spectacular setting because they wanted it to have that grandeur and give the sense that Thelma and Louise were flying off into the realm of myth.
Ah, well, that makes perfect sense. I mean, it's yes, they were killing themselves, but it seemed like at the end, it seemed like the only thing they had left to do.
I remember the first time I saw it, and they were sitting there at the top of the cliff, and I'm thinking, how is this going to work out? In my head, I was thinking, will they do a plea bargain? And I thought, well, that would be disappointing. What could happen that would be satisfying? And when they actually hit the gas pedal and went, I was shocked, as many people are the first time they see that movie. But it did feel right somehow. I know it offends a lot of people, and it's very polarizing, but it was what the movie was intended to lead up to all along, and amazingly, the studio backed them and let them release it the way it was intended.
So we are just about out of time. Are you on social media? How can people find and follow you? And do you have any book signings coming up?
I can be found at my website, BeckyAikman.com, and I'm on Twitter at Aikman_Becky. But, if you just search for Becky Aikman, you'll find it. And I will be speaking at a number of colleges in the fall, and I'm not sure what other places at this point. I've been going around to a lot of places where they show the movie, and that's been really fun.
Oh, I bet.
People love it, and then I can talk a little bit about what happened behind the scene. And it's interesting, people of all ages, and both men and women, still find it really speaking to today. It doesn't feel dated at all, because a lot of these issues are still issues that society is dealing with.
I'm sure everybody listening now wants to go rewatch the movie, because it's been a while.
Yes, people debate, should you read the book and then watch the movie, or watch the movie and then read the book, and I've heard it from both sides.
So, Becky Aikman, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a treat.
Thank you. I enjoyed talking to you.
So we are at the end of our show for today. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. Have a great day, everyone.
I love the colorful clothes she wears and the way the sunlight.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC. Big business or small, America's economy is doing just fine right now, thank you. Home Depot said it's selling a lot of supplies to contractors. Business there booming. And a trade group says small business optimism is the second highest ever. The biggest drag for them, still finding help. Stock futures are higher on Wall Street. Things in Turkey have settled down for now. Tesla's board of directors has formed a special committee to look at Elon Musk's plans to take that company private. McDonald's will spend $6 billion to redo all of its restaurants by the year 2020. Table service, order kiosks, parking spots for curbside pickup, all among the many changes that you can expect to see down the road. Coke bought a